Today we are going to be making the granny spike stitch. It's a lot like the granny stripe, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Has just a little bit extra something in it to make it a little more fun and give it some more dimension. So let's get started. For this tutorial I am using worsted weight yarn. I'm using Paintbox yarn, Simply Aran. You can really use any yarn that you want with the appropriate hook size. I do recommend using at least 2 colors with this stitch. It really will make it stand out a lot more. And I'm also using a J6mm crochet hook. So we're going to start with one of our colors, and we're going to start with a chain that is a multiple of 3 plus 2 more. So I'm going to start with a chain of 20. I'm going to get my yarn on my hook, and I'm going to chain 20. All right, there's my chain of 20. And I'm going to be starting in the second chain from my hook, and I'm just going to be single crocheting across the chain for this first row. So 1, 2, there's my second chain from the hook. And you know, I know a lot of people start their chain using this side, but I really like to use the back of the stitch. I really like counting these little humps. I feel like it's so much easier to tell where your chain is, and plus I like having this on the back, on the bottom of my stitch. So just a little tip, that's what I like to do. Of course, if you like to work into your chain on this side, definitely do that. I like to work my into the chain on this side of the stitch. So my second chain from the hook, I'm going to insert my hook. Oops, and I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through both. That's my first single crochet. I'm going to do that in each chain all the way across. All right, here's my last single crochet for row 1. Here's row 1. You could certainly use foundation single crochet if you prefer. This row 1 needs to be a multiple of 3 plus 1 more single crochet, and then you'll be able to work the rest of the pattern just fine. So we're going to start on row 2 with the same color. I'm going to chain 3, and this chain 3 counts as a double crochet for this stitch. Oopsies. I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work. And I'm going to double crochet in this same stitch. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through the last 2. So I have 2 double crochets so far because my chain 3 counts as my first double crochet. Now I'm going to skip 2 single crochets, and I'm working into this next one right here. After I skip 2, this is my next stitch I'm working into, and I'm going to work 3 double crochet into this stitch. So 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochet all in that single crochet. And then for the next stitch, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to repeat that all the way across. So I'm going to skip 2 stitches and 3 double crochet in this next one. And again, I'm going to skip 2 and 3 double crochet in the next. Get some more yarn here. And again, I'm going to skip 2 and 3 double crochet in the next. I'm going to continue that all the way to the end of my row. skip 2, 3 double crochet, all right, so now I'm to my last 3 stitches, and I'm again going to skip 2, but I'm just going to do 2 double crochet in my last stitch. So just 2 double crochet in my very last stitch. All right, and there we have row 2. Get some more yarn here. It's not cooperating very well. So I'm going to go ahead and unwind some for myself. All right. So let's continue on for row 3. Row 3, I'm going to chain 3. Again, this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and I'm going to turn my work. And this is where the spike part of the granny stripe comes in. So I'm going to start in this first space between these 2 groups of double crochet in this space right here. I'm going to do a double crochet in this space. And my next double crochet, I'm going to actually insert my hook into this single crochet down below, the one right next to the double crochets from row 1. So right here, I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to insert my hook all the way down in that stitch in the row below. I'm going to pull up a loop to the height of my double crochet. I don't want to make it tight. I want to make sure it's that same height as my other stitches. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. My next one is going to be in that space. Not in a stitch, but just in that space. So you can see we have 1 long stitch in the middle of our 2 regular double crochets. So in the next space, again, I'm going to work a double crochet in this space between these 2 3 double crochet groups. And then my next double crochet, I'm working it into the row below. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into this single crochet down here right next to the 3 double crochet from row 2. I'm going to pull up my loop to the height of my double crochets for row 3. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And then now I'm going to work my 3rd double crochet in that space. So each of these spaces is going to have 3 double crochet, 1 regular double crochet, and then 1 of the spiked double crochet working into that row before the previous row, all the way across. And this is my last group of double crochets for this row. I do my regular double crochet, my spike double crochet, and regular double crochet. And then my last stitch is going to be a double crochet in the turning chain, in the chain 3 turning chain from the previous row. But before I do that, I'm going to grab my second color because I'm going to add my second color for this next row. And when I change colors, I like to do that in the last step of that last stitch right before you want to change colors. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into my last stitch, which is the chain from the previous row, the turning chain. I'm going to insert my hook and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. And I'm going to stop right there because this is the last step of my double crochet. I'm going to join my new color in this last step of my double crochet. So I'm going to grab this new color, I'm going to pull it through. And it gives a nice, clean, seamless join for my new color. This I'm actually just going to leave right here because I'm going to pick up this color again. So I don't want to snip it because I don't want to have to weave in that extra end. So I'm going to leave it right here so that I can pick it up again. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to carry it, I'm going to hold it right here while I do my chain up so that it brings it up a little higher so that when I want to grab it again, it's a little bit closer to where I want it. So that was chain 1. I need to chain 3 for my next row. Oopsies. So there's my chain 3. Remember, this chain 3 counts as a double crochet. I'm going to turn my work, and for row 4, get this out of the way, I'm going to double crochet in this same stitch. So I have 2 double crochet starting for row 4. And now I'm going to do the same thing across. I'm going to be working in between my 3 double crochet clusters all the way across. So I'm working in the space in between these groups of double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet. Then I'm going to do that spike double crochet again, working into the middle double crochet from the row below. So I'm going to work into the middle double crochet. I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop that height of the double crochets. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And then I'm going to do my next stitch in that same space. Okay, and here's my next space I'm going to be working in right here between these groups of double crochet. I'm going to do a regular double crochet. Then I'm going to do that spike double crochet in this middle one right below where I'm working. Insert my hook into the top 2 loops of that double crochet and work that spike stitch. And then a regular double crochet in that same space. I'm going to do that all the way across. Regular double crochet, my spike double crochet, and a regular double crochet. Across. This is my last space that I'm going to be working into for this row. And then I'm going to end the row with 2 double crochet in this chain 3 turning chain space. So I'm just going to actually work into the space and not into the actual chain. I'm just going to work, oopsies, that was a single crochet. I'm going to do 2 double crochet in this space. So there we have our next row of our granny spike stitch. So you could see you could see where it kind of dips down and just creates another level of texture for the granny stripe. So we're going to continue on the next row. It's actually going to be the same as row 3. We're just going to be repeating that same row again. So I'm going to chain 3 and turn, and I'm going to be working in this space right here. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did in the previous row. This is my last group of double crochets for this row. And at the end of this row, I'm going to be changing back to my first color. My last stitch is going to be a double crochet in this chain 3 from the previous row. So I'm going to start my double crochet with this current color, and then I'm going to end my double crochet. That last step of the double crochet, I'm going to pull through the color I want to change to, which was the color I was working with first. So I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into the top of this chain 3 and yarn over and pull up a loop. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. This is my last step of this double crochet. So I'm going to put this color down. I'm going to pick up my next color. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 with my new color. And again, I'm going to carry this one up a little bit with my chain. I'm just going to loop it in there. So let's go ahead and continue with this color. I'm going to chain 2 more, so I have a chain of 3 to start with. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to double crochet in the same stitch. Get that out of the way. All right, and then I'm going to work my double crochets, my double crochet groups all the way across. So 1 double crochet, oopsies, the spikes double crochet, and a regular double crochet. I'm going to do that all the way across my row. This is my last group of double crochets for this row. And I'm going to end this row with 2 double crochet in the turning chain from the previous row. So this row was a repeat of row 4, and the next row will be a repeat of row 3. And we're going to keep alternating rows 3 and 4. So I'm going to chain 3 and turn. And I'm going to keep working that same stitch pattern all the way across, starting in this very first group, or this very first space in between my double crochets. I'm on my last set of double crochets for this row. And I'm going to end the row with a double crochet in the last stitch from the previous row, which is that turning chain. And if I were to keep going, I definitely would have picked up this color in that last step of this double crochet, just like I had before. So I really think changing colors every 2 rows with this stitch really makes the stitch pop. So to continue this stitch, just keep repeating rows 3 and 4 until it's the length that you want. I like ending on a row 3 repeat because then that gives me 2 rows of that final color. So it kind of gives it an even finished look. So I hope you love this stitch. I think it's such a fun stitch. It creates this fun zigzag look and it's so easy to create. Such a fun texture.